Hi, all my friends. Mrs. Hollifield here, ready to celebrate the last week of preschool with you. And there are so many wonderful books out there, but I decided that I would read Clark the Shark Dares to Share as the last book because one of the most important things we learned at preschool this year was how to be a good friend. And Bruce Hale did the words, and the pictures are by Guy Francis. Clark the Shark loved school. He loved his teacher and he loved learning, but sometimes Clark got a little mixed up. One marvelous morning, Mrs. Inky Dink told Clark's class, "It's time for show and share." Benny the Blowfish went first. He played a song so sweet and sassy that Clark couldn't help but dance his funky shark dance with a hip and a hop and a skiddly widdly wop. "Sit down, please," said Mrs. Inky Dink. "But I was sharing too," said Clark. "Sharing is caring," said Mrs. Inky Dink, "and everyone must learn to wait their turn." "I get it," said Clark, but he didn't really. At Reading Roundup, Amanda Eelwiggle won a scrumptious prize for reading the most books. "Sea slug ice cream?" asked Clark. "Yum, yum, I want some." "That's up to Amanda," said Mrs. Inky Dink. "But sharing is caring," cried Clark. Mrs. Inky Dink nodded. "Yes, I'm aware, but the giver chooses when to share." "Sharing is confusing," said Clark. In reef hockey, Clark chose to share his spectacular skills. "Hockey is awesome," he roared. Clark front faked and he back faked and he stick checked and decked. In the end, Clark did everything but pass the puck. His teammates were cranky. "Hey, hotshot, let someone else score, why don't you?" said his best friend, Joey Mackerel. "But we all shared the win," said Clark. Coach Krabby scowled. "A win's not okay unless we all get to play." "Sharing is complicated," said Clark. Well, after school, Clark and Joey Mackerel played Sea Wars at Joey's house. "Wow, is that Dark Waiter?" asked Clark. "Best birthday present ever," said Joey. "Want to play with Fluke Seawalker?" Clark really wanted Dark Waiter, but Joey asked him to wait his turn. Then, when Joey went to get them a snack, Clark couldn't resist. "Must be my turn." It was, after all, the coolest toy ever. "Sea Wars rocks!" cried Clark. Pow, bam, crunch. Oh, oops. "Clark," cried Joey, "you broke it." "Sorry," said Clark. "I was sharing?" Joey shook his head. "That's not sharing," he said. "That's taking and breaking." Oh. Clark the Shark swam home, befuddled and bewildered. He didn't understand sharing at all. And when he arrived, Clark found he wasn't the only one who didn't get it. "Mom," cried Clark, "my cap! He borrowed it, he bit it, and now it's ruined." "Teething or no teething," Clark's mother said, "that's no way to treat a cap." She told his brother to ask before borrowing, but she told Clark, "You have heaps of caps, and if you have a lot, why not share a lot?" But Clark didn't want to hear it. He swam to his room and he sulked up a storm. "Sharing is caring," Clark grumbled. "It's not taking and breaking." But this only reminded him of what he'd done at Joey's house. Clark's head hurt, as if a big sharky thought was trying to break free. So, sharing is waiting your turn, letting everyone play, the giver chooses, not taking and breaking, and giving what you've got a lot of. Oh, sharing was confusing. But, thought Clark, it also might be worth getting right. Mom, he asked, will you help me bake something? The next day, Clark gave Joey a home-baked krill cake and a great big Sharky apology. I think I'll share this with the whole class, said Joey. Really, said Clark. Really, said Joey. And when Amanda Eelwiggle saw all that cake being cut up, she said, you know what goes well with krill cake? No, what? Said Clark. Sea slug ice cream. And just like that, she scooped her treat onto everyone's plates. Oh, Clark the shark looked around at his classmates enjoying the cake and ice cream, and he got a warm, wiggly feeling way deep down inside. What is it, Clark? Asked Mrs. Inky Dink. With a ginormous grin, Clark broke into the funkiest, sharkiest, and funky shark dance ever, and this time all of his classmates joined him with a hip and a hop and a skiddly widdly wop. Oh, he said, sharing is sweet. And what a good reminder to all of us, how good it feels when we do share. All right, let's sing a fun song now called Down by the Bay, and I do have pictures to go with it. And so let me just start the music. And here we go. You can clap and sing along. Down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a goose kissing a moose down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a whale with a polka dot tail down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a fly wearing a tie down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a bear combing his hair down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see llamas eating their pajamas down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see an octopus dancing with a platypus down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever have a time when you couldn't make a rhyme down by the bay? Hey! And actually, we do know there's one more rhyme. We have a baboon holding balloons. Okay, all right. Now, on behalf of all the 3-year-old teachers, we just want you to know that we sure feel lucky that we were a part of your first preschool experience, and even though our time together was cut short, we still have a lot of wonderful memories to treasure, and we hope that you have a safe and fun summer. And until next fall, remember that we love you. Bye.